The biggest battle in NFTs is happening and has been happening over the past few weeks. We have seen some people making millions of dollars in free money based off the Blur airdrop. And we've seen OpenSea react, the biggest NFT marketplace, react by dropping their royalty and creator fees, all in an attempt to claw back market share. People are both excited and there is some outrage in the response on whether this is good for NFTs, bad for NFTs. We're going to cover all of this and more in today's episode of Goats and the Metaverse, and really go into what does this all mean? How can you make some free money? And what can you do with all of those Blur tokens? Stanley, it's been a crazy week. And I think I say that every week.
I think you say that every week, but this is definitely one of the craziest things that has happened because of how the market is reacting. There's liquidity in the market. People are selling, people are buying, people are excited. And I think the biggest news, it has nothing to do with Yuga Labs because they seem to be the ones that have been moving the market for the last, I don't know, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And now we have somebody that is completely different, making big noise and sticking it to OpenSea, who does not have a lot of fans out there. So we'll get into it and more right here on Go to the Metaverse. Good to see you, my friend. Before we go any further, for those of you watching at home, leave a comment below. Let us know, are you currently using Blur or OpenSea or both? Have you heard of Blur? If you have, what's your experience? If not, keep watching the show. If you are using Blur, keep watching the show so we could tell you more about it and our perspective on it. But let's get into it. Let's see what the market is doing. I predict green. Oh, boom, 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 boom.
You are wrong.
Well, I don't know. Ethereum, green arrow. Ethereum's up. Solana's up. ApeCoin is up, all green. Flirting with that 1700, which is nice to see. ApeCoin has been pretty consistent in the high fives, mid to high fives. And this is after Sewer Pass has closed. The Dookie Dash has closed. So that is also a good sign. And if you listen to the master, Mr. Yossi, I believe Solana was at $8 not so long ago when he said, that is very cheap, ladies and gentlemen. 8 times 3 is 24. 300x is what my basic second grade math is doing for me over there. So congratulations to you who followed suit. And NFTs. Let's see what they're doing. Boom.
NFTs are down across the board. Not major movements, small downward trend in NFTs. We're seeing that the base currencies prices are up, so maybe that is part of the reason. Bored Apes holding strong, 77 ETH. Mutant, 16 ETH. Moonbirds, surprisingly, 6.56 ETH when the announcement came out that they were canceling the Proof conference. That price got some downward pressure. It's recovered slightly. Proof team and the Moonbirds team really struggling to find their footing post their massive sale that feels like forever ago that we heard some exciting news out of the Moonbirds world. We're seeing things like VFriends moving downwards. We've got VCon coming up, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Announcements out of VCon came out yesterday on who some of the speakers are and the lineup. It looks pretty impressive. Interesting to see that VFriends didn't respond positively out of that news, but I expect more big announcements to come at the build up to that. Are you going to be going to VCon, Stanley?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I am 50-50 as of right now. But I'm going to try to make it out. But one thing I do want to say, there is not a lot of movement, but there is liquidity in the market. Things are selling, right? So if you click on OpenSea or Blur and see, is there action? Are these NFTs actually being sold? And they are. Things are being listed. Things are being sold within, minutes.
Yeah.
And the question is, well, whoa. Is there new buyers in the market? Where's this coming from? We always talked about how we want, you know, we need that new set of buyers. But what's happening now is not the set of buyers. What's happening now is there's more money in the market. And the question is, how is that happening? Blur. What is Blur, Yasi? Tell us about Blur.
What is Blur? Blur is a marketplace, NFT trading marketplace, originally designed for more high-end traders. If you think of OpenSea as kind of your one-on-one collectors or your individual collectors, Blur is for the traders, the degens, the people that are trading in and out every single day. It was released into the market last year. Pseudo-anonymous team or anonymous team, backed by Paradigm, very well-known VC in the space. And hit the market pretty strong. And what was unique about them and how they managed to capture some market share was two distinct moves. Number one, they came out with a very, very low fee. OpenSea has been holding strong at 2.5% has been their fee that they have charged since the dawn of time. And Blur came out and said, we're going to charge 0.25%. Bring that fee down and compress it all the way down. And on top of that, they made a very controversial announcement that the royalties that creators were putting onto their contracts was optional. Whether you want to pay it or not is up to you. And that is anywhere between a 2.5% to 10% difference in pricing if you are selling an NFT. Traders went all the way onto Blur, started trading on that, obviously didn't pay the royalties to creators. Creators were upset about it. OpenSea came out with an announcement saying that they are going to honor creator fees. Creators rejoiced, moved forward a couple of months, and Blur continued to take market share from OpenSea. One last thing that Blur did is that they had a token incentive for trading on their platform. The more you traded on their platform, if you put bids, if you traded, if you listed items, you would get rewarded with the Blur token. That came out just a few weeks ago, and some people made tens of thousands to millions of dollars in those token airdrop rewards. People heard that news, and now even more people have started to list and trade on Blur. And we see that OpenSea is losing more and more market share. So very recently, just about a week ago, OpenSea came out and said, we are no longer honoring creator royalties. And for the time being, we are going to drop our fee down to zero. And that's where we are today with what is going on in Blur. They have made some millionaires. They have given some airdrops. They've created some liquidity. And that's where we're seeing some big new buying attention happening off the Blur platform, where people are basically reward incentive farming. They're trying to get as many Blur tokens as possible.
And I think the interesting part about it is it doesn't necessarily mean you have to buy, or it doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell. They have some very complicated tokenomics that says if you bid on things, if there's activity, if you list things for a certain amount of period of time. So there's people that are literally gaming the system, right? Mm-hmm. And someone say, well, why would Blur do this? Like, why would Blur make the tokenomics about this where you could just bid on things? And the reason is it's kind of smart if you think about it from a marketing standpoint of view. You're now utilizing this platform. You're now spending hours and hours and hours of time on this platform. Natural progression is you're going to say, hey, I like this platform. I spent time on this platform. Why am I going to go back to OpenSea that has higher fees where I just spent hours and hours and hours on this platform and I got rewarded to do so? As all of us know in the Web3 space, we like free money. And Blur is creating that free money. They're also being very honest with saying, we don't know when this money, the money's not being released, right? You're just earning the tokens, but they're not actually saying when those tokens are coming in. So some might say it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be a year. Nobody really knows. And they've obviously made a statement. Franklin, who's one of the biggest ape holders, tweeted out saying he bought a punk, a hoodie punk, thanks to Blur. He also was making fun of Blur, and then he just said, I'm joking, it's the best thing in the world. So the attention is there. The attention is absolutely there. OSF and Mando sold 71 apes on Blur, and it didn't change the market at all. And a lot of people are saying the reason it didn't change the market at all is because people are concentrating on bidding because you're making more rewards. I don't know, Yasi. What are your thoughts just overall? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Can this all go really, really wrong, or is this is exactly what we need in this space?
It's a good question. Well, what we are seeing is that the way the Blur bidding pools work increases liquidity. So, as you mentioned, OSF and Mando are able to sell $9.1 million worth of apes in a day, in a moment, without moving the floor price. And that's what you want to see in a resilient market. You want to be able to see that people can come in and out of the market without it naturally crashing the price of these JPEGs. So that is positive. What is contentious and what is a big question is the royalty debate. One of the core features, one of the core benefits of NFTs is that there is this royalty that was being applied in secondary sales. And if you are a creator, you became reliant on that income. If you are a project creator and you want to give a free airdrop, you want to give a free NFT, and then people are trading that NFT and you are earning secondary royalties, that's how you were thinking about monetizing this free airdrop or this free drop as an example. That is now being questioned. It is being taken away. And now the question goes, well, then what do you do as a project? The only way you can make money then is by basically selling more NFTs. And that goes against what the holders want, which is now increasing supply. So are we shooting ourselves in the foot here for short-term gain, for short-term profit? Are we incentivizing the wrong behavior, and is Blur actually creating more damage than good by taking this out? Others say it would have been inevitable. It was going to happen. It was only a matter of time. The fact that people were able to earn 10%, let's talk about VFriends, 10% royalty on all secondary trading volume. Many would have said that is ludicrous. Nowhere else in the industry will you earn that type of royalty, that kind of number is way too inflated. So time will tell.
Time will tell.
I know as a project creator, it is a big question for us on, well, what do we do
100%.
and how do we think about our business moving forward if royalties are no longer part of the equation?
And I think the other thing I'd like to say is that it kind of pushes us back into Web 2 mode, right?
Yep.
Because now
subscriptions and events and
you have to raise money, right? Or you have to raise money. And now you're going back to those same VCs, you're doing exactly the same thing. And it completely changes the dynamic of what is Web3. So yeah, it does push us back. But at the same time, maybe it's bringing new people into the space. Maybe now people are saying, hey, I was a trader and I was trading stocks, and now I could come into the space and function in the space. These are all very, very, very good debates. And I think the other interesting part about the creator of Blur, Pac-Man, came out and revealed themselves, right? So that's, I think that's another positive move. He's coming out and saying, here's who I am. That got 1.1 million views on Twitter.
wow.
Shout out to Elon Musk for now putting views on Twitter and photos. And yeah, I mean, I think kids studied math and computer science at MIT. He dropped out of high school at 17 years old and was part of
Clearly a smart kid.
Yeah, like he kind of seems like he knows what he's talking about or doing, and got a lot of high praise from everybody around. And yeah, I mean, we're certain parts of Web3 are heading the right way, right? Like now we know who this guy is. That's a big win. But certain parts, I agree with you, right? It's taking the step back. You're going through, like I guess the other part of it is nobody's going to come out with some bullshit project anymore because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to you. You're not making the royalties. Even if you're the greatest hype man in the world and you're creating that hype, it's going to be hard. And we're seeing more and more projects close off. But let's finish the show off on a high note. There is a project, hashtag not financial advice, do your own research, that is kicking some ass and taking names. And a fellow to my right, well, to my left on the show, has something to do with it. Yasi, share with our audience what we're about to see, sir.
Well, we have been working at Metaversal on a project called Omega Runner. We've mentioned it on the show before. It is our collaboration with some of the biggest names in Hollywood.
The Hollywood guys, as I like to call them.
The Hollywood guys creating a new story universe called the Omega World, where the currency of power is speed. And we just leaked out or launched our hype video as we gear towards the PFP sale, the character collection that is coming soon. I can't give you the exact date, but if you follow us on Twitter, hit the notifications and start following what we're saying, there is access to our allow lists that will be coming out. But let's play the video.
To the videotape we go.
You can go to Omega X Runner on Twitter, and it is the pinned post. It's getting some good traction. We've had over 1,000 likes and 50,000 views. It's a pretty cool little teaser.
It is very cool. Congratulations, and we'll make sure to drop it in the description as well. So those of you watching the show, don't feel like there's some photo out there. Well, you know what? I enjoyed this show. And I'm excited to see what happens with Blur, what happens, and like you said, every week there's something new, right? There's something happening. Bored Ape Yacht Club, the sewer passes are back. You can start playing the game again. I have to look into it. I haven't even looked into it yet, so maybe we'll cover that on the show next. And yeah, keep watching, keep subscribing. If you got some value, hit that, smash that subscribe button. And we'll see y'all again real soon. Have a good one, everybody.